Hey, what's going on, PFR Nation? This is Kevin Lau, your host of the Planning for Retirement podcast, and welcome to another Whiteboard Fireside Chat. We're in my living room in front of a real fire with a YouTube ambiance in the background, and yes, we do have our Christmas tree still up, and we're going to just leave that there here for the next week or two, just because it's been too chaotic to even think about cleaning up Christmas stuff. But this Whiteboard Fireside Chat, this title here, it's a little bit clickbaity. Avoid double income taxes on your IRA distributions. I admit it's a little clickbaity, but I'm telling you right now, this topic is legit. You need to pay attention to this one, okay? Especially if you've been building up large IRAs and you're planning for retirement, you're approaching retirement, or maybe you've already retired and you're kind of thinking about, hey, how do I plan for RMDs? How do I plan for Roth conversions? Okay, so this topic is super critical because, you know, it is January, so we've been spending a lot of time on portfolio reviews with clients to make sure we're taking care of the rebalancing, we're updating our model portfolios for the year as well. And, you know, like I talked about in my 2025 Outlook, the podcast episode that just came out, 5 things to look out for in the markets in 2025. I've been noticing all of our client portfolios super overexposed into big tech, okay? Because big tech has been the top dog over the last couple of years. So no surprise there, significant overexposure into big tech. So we're just taking some of those gains off the table, repositioning in some of those safer asset classes like fixed income, because hey, interest rates are they kind of popped in the fourth quarter. I mean, the 10-year treasury sitting at about 4.5. You know, so our clients that are trying to get a little bit defensive, you know, or just have a certain asset allocation target, we want to take some of the risk off the table and take some of those gains off the table that we've enjoyed the last couple of years. But anyways, going through this portfolio rebalancing with our clients has kind of brought to light this issue of double income taxation on RMDs, okay, on these IRA distributions. So let me explain, let me jump into the whiteboard and show you what I'm talking about. So this is one of our client situations that really open our eyes here. This particular client, as you can see, the majority of their assets, just like a lot of you, are in these tax-deferred accounts. Okay, these are IRAs, 401ks, etc. Okay, they have a nice little healthy chunk here in the Roth accounts. Okay, these are Roth IRAs here, so those are tax-free, no required minimum distributions on that one. Okay, so that's an important thing to note. And then up here we've got the taxable account. This is their trust account. So this is the smallest of the 3 buckets. And ultimately, this taxable account, you got to be kind of careful with this one because the tax treatment on these investments matters. Whereas inside of an IRA or a Roth IRA, the tax treatment doesn't matter per se because any capital gains that are distributed or interest income that's earned, that's tax deferred and tax exempt, you know, because they're inside of these qualified plans. Whereas in the trust account, okay, in these taxable accounts, whether it's a trust account or a joint brokerage account or an individual brokerage account, every year you're going to get a 1099. And if you're investing in tax inefficient investments, it could create a tax drag on your overall portfolio and also trigger some surtaxes that you haven't even thought about. You know, things like Medicare surtaxes, taxation on Social Security, and let alone just pushing your income tax bracket to the next level. But what's going on with this particular client is they're running into the RMD tax trap, okay? So, you know, they have been retired for a few years, and ultimately they just were not in a position to ever implement solid Roth conversions. It never really clicked with them, you know, in the past. You know, I think mainly because they kind of retired in an era where Roth conversions weren't really mainstream, okay? So they've been retired for a little while without really doing a ton of conversions. Like I said, they've got a nice healthy chunk. They've got a nice healthy chunk in tax-free, but the majority, this 1.8 million, is tax-deferred, and that is subject to RMDs. But what's going on with them, they have Social Security income and pension. That equates to about $150,000 a year, and that's pretty comfortable for them. They don't necessarily need additional income, but with RMDs, they are forced to take out about $80,000 this year. And that just grows each year because their life expectancy calculator changes. And so ultimately that 80,000 is going to continue to grow. Okay. So what's going on here is they're taking out this 80K, and they pay ordinary income taxes on that distribution. And currently, because they don't need it, they're just taking that net after tax distribution and they're putting it inside of that trust account. And this trust account is, you know, generating a lot of interest income. Okay, because the kind of that old school of thought is, you've got these three buckets and you kind of divide your stocks and bonds evenly between these three accounts, 60-40 across the board. Okay, so they've got a nice little healthy dose of fixed income already that's generated interest income. Well, how is that treated? Ordinary income. Okay, that's going to be taxed at your marginal rate. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about with this double taxation. So they're running into this RMD trap where this is just going to continue to be a problem. And so if I ran a little quick rate of return calculator, if we have a starting balance in that trust account of about 462, but then let's say net after taxes, they are doing some qualified charitable distribution, so that reduces that RMD a little bit. Okay, any money you donate directly to charity from your IRA, you can reduce your RMD dollar for dollar. I think it's up to about $107,000 for the year. But they're going to basically just take this net 50 grand and they're just going to continue to reinvest that annually into that trust account. And if we assume a modest rate of return of about 6 for the next 10 years, that account's going to grow all the way up to just under 1.5 million bucks in 10 years. So if you think the tax drag is happening now, think about when that account is worth triple than what it is today. Okay, so from a portfolio allocation standpoint, we need to be really, really mindful on creating additional tax drag for this particular client, because that could absolutely trip things like Medicare surcharges, okay, pushing them into different tax brackets, things like that. So here's the strategy that I want to propose to you. This strategy is what we like to call in the industry asset location. So not to be confused by asset allocation. So asset allocation is essentially what is the target mix between stocks and bonds that you want in your portfolio that makes your plan work, okay? Not that some talking head is telling you to do, but what makes your financial plan work, okay? And the most popular option, at least that we see for clients, is this 60-40 spread between stocks and bonds. And so instead of owning pro rata, meaning 60-40 in the taxable account, 60-40 in the tax-deferred account, 60-40 in the tax-free, asset location says, you know what, let's be smart with where we own that fixed income, because we know it creates a little bit of a tax drag. Let's own that over here in these tax-deferred accounts. As you can see, 63% of this portfolio of that 1.8 million is going to be sitting now in fixed income, which is generating interest income, taxable income. But because this account's tax deferred, we don't have to worry about that. The only thing we worry about is RMDs coming out of the back end, which is going to generate income taxes, but we have to take that out anyways. Okay, and then in the trust account, look what we're doing here, 100% in stocks, because ultimately this client, there's couples, they're not even using the trust account for their income. They're using that for legacy. They're going to pass this on to the next generation. Same thing with the Roth account. That's for legacy as well, and there are no RMDs. There are no required minimum distributions. So both of those accounts, they can kind of let that cook and compound, not even worry about any market volatility, because they have this fixed income that's inside of their IRAs, and those are the accounts that are generating those required minimum distributions anyhow. Okay, so it's the benefit of not only kind of syncing up the timing, but also syncing up where you own those tax inefficient investments. And if we do that for this particular client, they're still going to achieve their targeted 60-40 asset allocation, but now it's just tax optimized. So what's the impact on this one? Well, the first thing that jumps out to me is it results in $58,000 less taxes paid during their lifetime. So just by being savvy with where they're owning those tax inefficient investments adds about $58,000 in their pocket and not in the government's pocket. Okay, I'm a favor of that. The second thing that jumps out is $361,000 less from withdrawals from tax-deferred accounts. Now, why does this happen? Well, it's simply because that account's expected rate of return is going to go down because it's going to be more conservative, and then the expected returns for the trust account and the Roth accounts are going to increase because they're more aggressive. So it's smaller withdrawals from those IRAs over time because those RMDs are going to be lower because the account balance is going to be lower each year. But then the result of that is this account balance, these tax-free accounts, the trust account can be more aggressive, and those accounts can actually grow higher than what they otherwise would have and actually increase the net portfolio value to their heirs by $150,000. So again, it's just this minor tweak of, instead of just kind of going in a blanket and say, I'm going to invest every account the same way, being strategic on how you invest each account based on the time horizon, based on your overall asset allocation targets, and also based on the tax impact on those particular investments. So that's asset location. That's how you avoid double income tax on those IRA distributions. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, of course, make sure to like it, but more importantly, make sure to share it with someone else that you think might find value, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of you. It allows us to pump the algorithm. I loved one of those comments last week. They're like, Kevin, we're just going to comment just because we want the algorithm to work in your favor. Let's do more of that. Just if you don't even know what to say, just say thank you, or great video, or nice fire, nice Christmas tree. I don't really care. You can comment on this this chocolate stout that I'm drinking. Whatever, if you like chocolate stout, comment in the comment section. But listen, appreciate all of you. This video has been fun, and hope you found it valuable. And until next time, this is Kevin Lau signing off.